Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Peculiar Endeavors podcast. I'm Emily, and I am your host. Are you just like me and you like making things? Things like I do, jewelry, and maybe you like to knit, maybe you like to sew things, maybe you like to paint, maybe you like to print. Just things, making things that you enjoy. And what I found that I just end up with a lot of things that I make at home, which I love. And I think all of us, we're very creative people. So we should definitely continue being creative and enjoy it. And many times these things take a long time to make. But just because it's so enjoyable to make things, I personally just continue doing them. And I started with, where my interest started was when I was very young. I used to make clothes for my dolls. And this is how my sewing craze started. And then I studied fashion where I learned how to knit properly. I used to, what you call looming. I used to do very old school things because I wanted to learn more of a handcraft thing rather than just making clothes for a big company. And I know many of my friends who went to the same school that I did really enjoyed making clothes or fashionable clothes because they really wanted to work for like a fashion company or fashion house. And that was something that I was interested in. I was really interested in how to make things by hand. I remember I made my own prom dress. There was a lot of hand stitching, and my teachers thought I was completely bonkers and they didn't believe in me. But I did it. I think my mom has it somewhere stashed. I don't think it fits me anymore, but it's quite fun. Actually, I think my mom has boxes and boxes and boxes of things that I've made, clothes that I've made. I'd love to go through them one day, but I think it's quite a lot. Anyhow, I wanted to talk about something because I've been hearing this from others that also like to make things. And, when you have friends and people around you say, oh my gosh, you're so good at making this, you should just put it out there and sell it. And I think many people, just like myself, you start having an Etsy shop because I think Etsy has this reputation of selling handcrafted things and being very friendly and very legit, as in legitimately handcrafted things by small people and not big companies. And I think as well, many of my friends and many people that I know as well, they always have others around them. They say, oh, I'll support you because we love handcrafted things, and you should just go and do it, or even go to a market and sell your things and all of that. And mind you, this is something that you do as a hobby, so you're still working full time. And I just wanted to say that I've never sold my things at a market or a stall or anything like this, only because it's just extremely time consuming. So when you have a full-time job, it gets very difficult. You would be basically working full time. And it's not just the fact that you have to take yourself to a market and stay there for a whole day and sell your things, you're also making the things. I guess it really depends how long it takes everyone to make things, but the jewelry that I do make, it takes me a long time to make it. So if you have a full-time job and you're doing something like this, crafting, because you love doing it, and you would also have like a market stall, maybe at least once a week, it gets very time consuming, but it could also be fun. And I do understand if you would like to have your craft as a full-time job, maybe that's a very good idea. But also, it's very expensive to have a stall somewhere. It can cost quite a lot. And specifically, if you're thinking about selling things at some kind of festival or something, normally those stalls are really expensive. So this means that you would have to make lots and lots of things and sell lots and lots of things just to even break even. And this could be a good thing if you do want to start your own company and you want to get your name out there and get feedback, because you get to talk to customers face to face and you get feedback straight away, which is great. But this would have to be like a strategy of basically getting your name out there and not necessarily making a lot of money. Where am I getting with this? I've been thinking about this for a long time, as I've been having my Etsy shop for many years now, and I know I'm not very good at marketing myself. I'm not someone that is pushing my jewelry and the things that I do. Yeah, maybe I should, but I'm not very good at marketing myself, and I never have been. I always been very good at making things, but the selling side of things, the marketing side of things, it's not my forte. And many people, friends around me, and I know this goes for many others that I know and I heard, that do make things, they knit, or, very time consuming things that do require skill. Everyone says that they love handmade things and they appreciate things that are handmade, and they'll support you. And by support, I'm not asking my friends to buy my things. I think by support from friends is to, if you follow them on Instagram, for example, or if you follow their pages, liking photos and maybe sharing photos if you like the items, or I think sharing is a big part of it. And this is something that I find quite strange, that many people, they love things you make, but they would never share your website, for example. I do have a lot of friends that make music as well, and this is a skill that I wish I had. I really wish I was able to put together music. When I was younger, I actually did make music, like electronic music, and I really enjoyed it. But at the moment, I think that I just would not know where to start. I think I was more of a daredevil when I was younger, and I wonder what those songs are now. It would be so funny to listen to them. But I do have a lot of friends that are very talented singers and songwriters, and they make music. And yeah, that is an amazing skill. And it's the same thing there. I find many times it's about sharing their music and liking posts and supporting your friends like that. And I really find that this is happening less and less, and it's also because of algorithm of social media. I find, for example, that on Instagram, many times I miss the posts from my friends because there's just ads and suggested videos, and I just miss posts from friends that I actually follow, from people that I follow. And it's really frustrating because many times I want to like posts, I want to share posts, but I just don't see them. So that's very frustrating too. But I also know that many times us who make creative things and we want to get it out there, it just doesn't get shared. Although people do, when they see the things that you make, they love it, and they do say, that, oh my gosh, this is amazing, can't believe you made it, or oh, I love this and I love that. You must be doing really well because, just put it out there online, it's going to sell, you can sell this and sell that. But the problem is that things don't get shared, and I think the idea for people having handmade things is one thing, but actually supporting someone that is making something that is handmade is another. When it comes to people that buy things that are handmade, I also find it very difficult with pricing. For example, it takes me a long time to make a necklace. A smaller necklace that I make, it takes me about, I would say roughly about 4 hours. So if you think about this, if you would like to make this your, I don't know, part-time job or something, you would have to take like what is it called? A wage for yourself, an hourly wage. I don't really remember what the minimum wage in the UK is at the moment, but I would say it would be around £10, maybe £8, something like that. Just to make it easier, let's say, if you would get £10 an hour, and it will take you 4 hours to make something, that is £40. Also, the materials that you use, depending on what kind of materials you use. If you're knitting, for example, if you're using wool or good quality materials, it gets really expensive too. Let's say, to make it easy, I'm making a necklace. Let's say that the materials that I've used cost me about, let's make it easy, £10. Let's say I used materials that cost me £10, and it took me 4 hours to make something which cost me £40 as my hourly wage. It's different as well if you are having any ads running. I don't have any ads, so I'm not going to even talk about that. But let's say I have this necklace and I want to put it on Etsy. I think now you have to pay to have an Etsy shop. So you would have to pay, I think it's £50 just to start it up if you don't have one already. So that's also really annoying. So it's not just the fact that you can just open something. And every single time you post something, it will cost you about 20p. Every single time you sell something, Etsy is going to take a fee. And then there's taxes, and then there's another fee, and there's so many fees that they put on the actual item that you're selling. And I don't even know. But every single time I sell something, it's a lot of money that gets taken. It's definitely more than 10%. But let's make it easy, like I said. Let's say that Etsy takes 10%, not just Etsy, but it's like the taxes and Etsy, and I think also PayPal takes some money. And then it depends if you have free shipping. At the moment, I have free shipping on the items. So this means that I am paying for the shipping, which is normally about £4 or £5. Depends on the item. So let's say that I spend £10 on the materials, £40 for the 4 hours it took me, so that's £50. And if I would list the item for £50, this means that I would have to deduct the 10% that Etsy is taking. 10% out of £50 is £5. That's £45. That's plus the shipping. Let's say that's £4. This means that I would have £41 left. And you also have to pay for the packaging and things like that. So let's say £40. So I'm back to £40. This means that I would have to add the extra £10 for all these costs. So now the listing is going to cost, the necklace is going to cost on the listing £60 because you have to add those things up. So £60 for the necklace. And see where I'm going with this? £60, a lot of people would say that's way too much. Oh, that is just so expensive. But it's handmade. It's not made somewhere in China by a machine. You know, it's handmade, and people say that they love handmade things. So it's also one of a kind. There is no other items just like that out there. And I personally feel that £60 is not much at all. But for example, on my Etsy shop, I have been posting my necklaces for way less because in my mind, I'm thinking there's no way people would not pay £60 for a necklace. So I don't charge myself for the time that it takes to make them. And I posted for maybe £40, which people still think it's expensive. But after all the fees and after you paid the materials, I'm really not making any money at all. And I just really wanted to talk about this because I know that this is not just me. I know that there's people, and I have friends, and they do this as their part-time job. And it's very time consuming, and they have amazing skills. And it's very disheartening when you hear people say, I love handmade things, but they will never support you. And like I said, it's not just about supporting them by buying. This is not what I'm saying. I understand many times, you can't just be buying your friends stuff all the time. But it's about sharing and making them know how long it takes, how you do it, and just emphasize things that you find very important. For me, I like to use stones. And what takes so long for me is the fact that I do make a knot. So the beads that I use, between every single bead, there is a knot. So it takes very long time when you buy necklaces. Normally it's just a thread with some beads on it. This is not it. I like to make things that will last, things that would be meaningful. I like to use materials to last, and I would like the things I make to be cherished as something important, in the sense of, like like a talisman or something that has meaning. And I think many people that are making things, crafting things, because it takes so long for you to make it, you want it to have a meaning. It does have a meaning to the person that made it. You put in a lot of energy into something, and you enjoy doing this. Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I'm not doing this for money. Definitely not. Because there's not enough money to be made on things like this, just putting it out there. But I love making it, and it makes me so happy when someone buys something from me, because I know that they're getting it because they love the item, they want the item, they appreciate what I've done and the work that I put into it. So I wanted to talk about this because I find that it's so easy to buy things right now. The overconsumption of things is just mad. And if you're someone that say that you love handmade things, and you have other friends that do make things, by all means do share with them. Share what they've done with others and support them by liking things, or maybe give them even feedback. Also, many of us that do craft things, we are very open to make something bespoke. But before you decide that you would like to have something bespoke, do think about what it is that you want and be quite specific about it and see if it can be done. It gets very difficult when someone asks about something bespoke, but they still want you to come up with the idea. If you want to have something bespoke, this means that you want to have something that looks in a very specific way, or has specific symbols in it, or has a specific color or stones or anything. So it would be very helpful for us that make it, and we want to make it, something that you really would love. It really helps to get as much information as possible, and we can feed it back to you if it's possible, and how we can do it. And because sometimes the material you're using might not be possible to make something bespoke or the way you want it. So you have to be open-minded from both sides. And I don't want people to stop making things, handmade things, just because it's so much easier to just buy things online that is already made, mass produced. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that you can buy nowadays. And yeah, they're mass produced and you can find them everywhere and they look cool. But they just don't have the same energy and the same value as something that has been handmade. And I think we should never stop appreciating this. For example, instead of buying lots of cheap, let's go with necklaces. Let's say you go into a Primark and there's loads of cool necklaces and chains that you can buy because you're going out, and I don't know, maybe you spend 20-30 pounds on buying a few necklaces that are cool. Let's say you get 5 necklaces for 30 pounds or something, like really cool ones, whatever. And you wear them a few times, but then you just stop wearing them because they're not cool anymore. Instead of spending, 30 pounds on some random things in Primark, you can easily spend 60 pounds on something that you can have forever, something that is meaningful. You can easily, save up some money to buy something that is really worth it. This is kind of how I'm thinking when I'm buying things. And yes, I used to buy a lot of junk, really. I used to. I think I bought a lot of jewelry in general when I was dancing because I just wanted to layer things for performances and stuff. And you know what? I gave it all away to charity. Like most of the jewelry, the junk jewelry that I had, and it was a lot of cool things too, but I just gave it away to charity because it just became meaningless to me. Yeah, I have not been dancing for a long time, and I don't know if I would ever will perform again, but that is also a form of creativity to dance. I still have lots of friends that do dance and they perform, and just by liking their posts, I think it really gives you the boost of you want to keep going, and it's just a very nice feeling to know that it's appreciated. So I know that this might not be something for everyone to listen to, but I feel like I needed to bring some awareness to it, because many times I feel like I just want to give up on doing things. I think I've been making the jewelry for a long time, and in the beginning I was just making loads of it because I find it very relaxing to make it. And when it's made, I just really put a lot of thought into things that I make, and I know everyone else does too, who are handcrafting things. And yeah, it really makes me happy when I get comments or feedbacks about the things I make. And I do like when people, share. And I like sharing my friends' things too. And it was so much easier when I was living in London. I had a lot of friends who were in bands, for example, or, performing. And it was very easy to just be there and support them when they were playing. And I was always there. If someone of my friends had a performance, I liked to be there to support them, to show them, that they have an amazing skill. And I don't know, for me as well, I feel like it's great to know that it's appreciated, and it makes you want to go and make more. And I think this is not really happening anymore. I think there's a lot of talking about it, and like this whole virtue of like, yeah, I support handcrafting and I support this and that. But at the end of the day, I feel it's just a lot of talk many times. And yeah, of course, it's things that we like doing. But because we like doing it, doesn't mean that you just go on and do this forever and ever. Because, well, I work like this. I do things for myself, but I never share what I do. Many times I do things like this. Sometimes I dance, I never share. I love doing my tarot cards. I never really share. Tarot cards, I think it's another outlet that is creative, that requires skill, but I also feel it's very creative. I like doing it, but I never thought of doing it professionally. I have been reading cards for other people, yes, I have. But I always see it as more of a hobby. And I think the jewelry thing of Etsy, and I'm thinking of just closing down Etsy, to be honest, because I really do not like the way they're conducting their business. But I have not found another place where I can post the jewelry. But I think posting things on Instagram, and if people are interested, it would be great just for them to send me a message. Where was I going with this? Yeah, tarot. I think I've got very discouraged by the jewelry thing of having and basically paying Etsy. I think it's every other month or something you have to pay. So I'm literally paying to have my things up there, which is also stupid. So I'm paying more to actually make the jewelry than making. So you really won't make any money. It's just a spiritual transaction of I'm trying to be, maybe it's not funny. I'm doing this as a hobby. I think if you want to do it as a business, it's really not funny. But yeah, I think the tarot cards kind of follow. I do them for myself. I like to study them. I like to use them. I use them at least every week. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I like to read books, but I just don't feel that I would be able to read cards professionally, because it's going to end up exactly just like the jewelry business, and you end up paying to post it somewhere, but nothing is going to happen. And yeah, my marketing is non existent. But maybe if you know how or where I should share my things that I've made, or maybe other friends could share their creative things too, just to get a bit more exposure, let me know. Yeah, I would like to end this with saying to everybody that is making anything creative, do not stop. I think I'm very sporadic. I do stop from time to time because I don't feel creative enough. I feel like I don't have anything to share, so I stop, but I miss making things. So even though you don't get exposure and maybe you don't sell much, or things get a little bit difficult in that department, don't stop making things. If you enjoy making them, just continue doing it, because we all know it's about actually doing it. And having someone to buy something you made, or wear something you made and share something you made, it's a very big plus, and it really helps to keep going and keep doing something, and keep doing something new, and come up with new designs and, I don't know, choreographies if you dance, or songs if you sing. Yeah. So I would like to encourage everyone to share your friends' work, and yeah, don't feel that you necessarily have to buy what they do. Just share and give feedback, and it will make us really happy. Okay. I'm almost thinking, should I leave you a link to my jewelry? Maybe I'll do that, but I'm not making this podcast for people to start following my jewelry thing. I really sincerely want to talk about this and tell people that how important it is to support handmade things, specifically if you have friends. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with this. Otherwise, it's going to be way too long and way too boring. And I'll see you next time.